Sakampa Chirekankakanta Stita Gaivadamo Taravaktivan Namamishwaram Sachiranandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Gajamana Iti Triksvali Virananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajanta Akyapayanta Tarieshita Yeshu Bhaktarjita Tvam Puna Prematasta Satapritiva Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamana Varam Deva Moksham Namokshavadim Va Nachanyam Vineha Varisadapi Idam te vavornata gopalabala Sarame manasyavi astam kimanya Namamishwaram sachiranandarupam Lasakundalam gokule vrajamana Idam te mukhamodam avyaktanila Vitam kuntalai snigdha Raktashtra gopya Mohostrambitam bimba Raktadharame Manasya virasta Alam lakshalabhai Namamishwaram sachiranandarupam Lasakundalam go Namo Deva Damo Darananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam Kripa Dristi Vristyati Dinam Bhatanu Gihane Shamamagya Etyakshijis O Namamishwaram Sachiranandarupam Tatsakundalam Mukule Bhajam Kuveratmajo Bhada Murdyaiva Yadvad Kaya Michuto Bhakti Vajo Krito Tata Prema Bhakti Sakame Prayacha Namokshe Gaumesti Damodere Namamishwaram Sachiranandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Namaste Sudamne Sporadipti Damne Tariyodarayata Vishwasya Damne Namoradikaya Variya Priyaya Namonantalaya Namoradikaya Tvariya Priyaya Namoradikaya Tvariya Rasakundalam Gokule Rajama Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Jaya Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara. Okay.
The classic original of Prabhupada? Classic original one? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Sorry. Gotta switch instruments. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nita Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nita Gaura Haribo. Nita Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nita Gaura Haribo.
Agyanam timirandasya Gyananjana salakaya Chaksuranmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama. Can you make this louder? Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tvadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Nama. Yang Pravrajantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruha Juhava Putriti Tanmayataya Taravo Banedos Tang sarvabhutahridayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya aparadalakshay chiptasya kamadi tarangamadye kripamai tvang sharanam prapadyam brinde namaste charanarvindam tavaivasmi tavaivasmi na jivami tam vina iti vigyaya radhe tam nayamam charanantike angashamalim chatabirabito mandi kritendivaram jagyam jagurarochisam pagadatam patam varasya shriya Vrindaranya vilasinam hridila sattamabhiramodaram radha skandani vishito jvalabhujam Dhyayamadamodaram. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and Shishimad Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. To our grandfather gurus, Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, and to all the assembled devotees and the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus, who are my Shiksha Gurus, live stream. Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Ban Maharaj, and Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, etc. And here we are. We stayed overnight in Nandagaon, and we completed our Parikrama of Nandagaon. And now from here, Vasanti is going to be our bus driver and take us to Varsana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Here we are in Varsana. Let's roll in the dust of this sacred mountain village and put that dust in our head, heart, tongue, and eyelids. Just as Lord Shiva had a desire to see Krishna's childhood pastimes, and so he was benedicted to be the hill upon which Nandagaon was manifested. So similarly, Lord Brahma, who is our Adi Guru, the original Guru of our Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya, he desired to see Radha and Krishna's beautiful pastimes. And so he became the hill of Varsana, so he could witness everything. So Varsana is the pastime place of Krishna's beloved Radhika. Lying in the heart of this village is a multitude of pastime places of the divine couple. and their secret amorous lila, together with their transcendental moods and desires. So we want to connect with that while we're here. Hopefully we'll be able to complete Varsana today, because there's only a few days left, and there's quite a few forests left to visit. This venerable land, with its lakes, ponds, gardens, and forests, such as Garvavan, Shankuri Kor, and other pastime places, reminds one of Radha and Krishna's different pastimes. We'll be hearing about those pastimes from Srila Gurudev. In Braj, the grass, small shrubs, creepers, trees, animals, birds, insects, and snakes, and so forth, are all composed, even the snakes, of eternity, unlimited bliss, and knowledge. They assist, even the snakes, assist Radha and Krishna in their pastimes and are very dear to them. It is said in the scriptures that even eminent realized souls like Lord Brahma, our Adi Guru, and Shankar, Lord Shiva, repeatedly pray to attain birth like theirs, so that they may also be able to serve Radha and Krishna. Like theirs means like the creepers and trees and snakes, birds of Braj. For instance, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami says in his Braj Vilas Stava, what is the tune? Jagannath Swami. Yat kinchit trinagul maki gatamo kam. Nope, it's not right. Yat kinchit trinagul maki gitamakam goste samasta hitat sarvanganandamaya mukunda daitam lilanukulam padam. Shastraya mahuramaho sputam idam nistantikam yanchaya brahmaderapisas brihena tadidam maya bhyandite. All the grass, shrubs, insects, and other creatures found in Braj are very dear to he who is the very embodiment of transcendental bliss, Sri Mukunda, and they assist in the pastimes. Like sometimes Basanti and I were just reading in Gopi Geet, where the gopis were asking the trees and creepers and deer where Krishna went, because he left the rasa dance. And when they didn't answer, Panda, are you here? Are you ready? And when they didn't answer, they speculated all kinds of reasons. Well, the tree didn't answer because he's a male and he's on Krishna's side, so he doesn't want us to know. Why didn't the creeper answer? Because she's a female, and when Krishna brushed by her, and then all these blossoms came out of her, like her hair standing on end, in the form of blossom, she just couldn't speak. So she was too overwhelmed. So they all serve in the pastimes. The snakes, when Radharani is leaving Krishna, ignoring his appeals for amorous pastimes, the snake comes and scares her back to Krishna. Parsana's original name is Vrishabhanupur. Vrishabhanu Maharaj, the father of Radhika, lived here with his family. And according to the Varaha and Padma Puranas, Brahma pleased Krishna at the end of Satya Yuga by performing arduous worship. He then asked for the following boon. Please perform your sweet pastimes with the Braja Gopis on my very form and allow me to behold their leelas. Please make my life blessed by especially performing the swing pastimes in the rainy season and by performing Holi in spring. Pleased with Brahma, Krishna instructed him, "Go to Vrishabhanupur and take the form of a hill there. In that form you will be able to behold our sweet pastimes." And so it happened. So like when you go to Sankori Kor, there's a little pathway and a pastime took place there. So on this side of the pathway is Vishnu Parvat. Lord Vishnu became the mountain. On this side is Brahma Parvat, where Lord Brahma is the hill housing Varsana. So it's a 4-mile long parikrama up the hill. And on the way, way, way top of Brahma Parvat is a temple of Sri Radhakrishna. There's the Sriji Mandir. That's where Srila Gurudev usually gives his lectures. I think about like at least 5,000 people fit in that temple. And Gurudev sits in the back with lots of devotees around him and speaks about the glory of this place, the glory of Govardhan, how Govardhan came out of Radharani's heart. And nearby is a temple of Lalita, in which one can have darshan of Radhika along with her Sakhis. Also, we'll be visiting on the top of Brahma Parvat, Dan Mandir, the place of the swing festival, Mayur Kutir, a Ras Mandal, means a platform where Radha and Krishna and the gopis, welcome, perform Ras Lila, and the temple of Srimati Radhika, that's so famous. The temple is completely filled up with pilgrims. Further on, between the two hills, is Sankari Kor, where a wonderful, funny pastime took place. There are 4 ponds around Varsana. Vrishabhanu Kund, where Radharani appeared on a 1,000-petaled lotus flower. Kirtita Kund, where Radharani's mother would bathe. Vihar Kund, later named Tilak Kund. And Dohani Kund. And we'll be visiting everywhere. Chiksoli is also on the road here, which is the village of Chitrashaki, who Srila Gurudev says every year is my art teacher. So first, Vrishabhanu Kund, I think you heard about that the other day. This is where he found the baby girl and placed her in the lap of Kirtida. So here we are on the bank of this Vrishabhanu Kund. Let's do Achman here. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. And then let's jump in, swim around, come out and dry off, putting the dust all over our body. Sometimes Krishna would also sport with Radharani and the gopis here in this kund. And he would also bathe, but in a different ghat. Then Shankari Kaur is a long pastime. So let's walk to Shankari Kaur, and you can see that Shankari Kaur is a very narrow passage. And what we're doing now is they're going down. Once the gopis, once they could get passage, after Krishna tried to stop them, It's such a narrow passage that one person can go, and that is if he goes like he's on a tightrope, like that. There's absolutely no room. And then there's the two mountains, so you hold on to the two mountains as you go down. After milking the cows, the gopis would carry the milk on kam bars, which is a bamboo stick with a rope attached to each end for carrying loads. You've seen that, right? Has the two ropes and then a bucket. They used this pathway to cross from one side of the hills to the other. Frolicsome Krishna would plunder the milk, yogurt, and butter from the jovial gopis there. Every year, in the month of Bhadra, on Sukla Trayodasi, the 13th day of the bright moon, Buddhi Leela is enacted here. I'm not sure what that is, but if somebody would like to look at the end note 4, then you could let us know. At this time, see, there are many Dangatis. You remember there was a Dangati in Govardhan, where Krishna would tax the gopis for wanting to pass through. And this is also a Dangati, a very skinny one. They would become tax collectors, and they demanded milk, yogurt, and butter as toll tax from the gopis. When the gopis refused to give it, Krishna would forcibly plunder it and relish those milk products. The gopis finally got tired of these daily encounters, and they decided one day to retaliate strongly. They decided that on a chosen day, they would all hide in the caves and dense kunjas. We don't see any caves and dense kunjas on the hill, but if we have spiritual vision, we could see them on both sides of the narrow pathway. A few gopis would then cross Shankari Khor, carrying pots of milk, yogurt, and butter on their heads. The plan was that the moment Krishna and his sakhas would stop them and try to plunder their load, the gopis would call out to their friends hiding nearby, like thousands of gopis were hiding, and at once descend. Huh? What? They're on the window? They're on the window. Right, you can see that. Like a 5-foot window to the spiritual sky there. So, at once, these gopis signaled the gopis who were hiding, and a wonderful pastime took place. 5 to 10 gopis forcibly caught hold of Krishna. Another 5 to 10 caught hold of Madhu Mangal, and further groups captured Subal, Arjun, Lavanga, and other sakhas. They slapped their cheeks till they were swollen. They then tied the tuft of hair on the back of their heads like a sika to the branches of the trees and asked them. Yeah, it was like 10 against 1 for each sakha. What pleasure is there in plundering our yogurt? Will you ever do it again? Madhu Mangal folded his hands and prayed at the feet of Lalita. Please spare me. I was hungry. I'm a simple Brahmin boy who fell under the influence of that fickle Krishna. I shall never behave like this again. The gopis thus taught the sakhas a lesson. So Radhika, Vishaka, and the other gopis had captured Krishna. They slapped his cheeks a few times. Just imagine who breathes in and out universes. Became so weak at the hands of the gopis that he couldn't check them from slapping his cheeks. And then they forcibly dressed him like a woman with a blouse and a skirt. They even put vermilion on the parting of his hair, on his arm, bangles on his arms, anklets on his feet, and so on. They covered half his face with a veil, placed a pot of yogurt on his head, and began to make fun of him by demanding tax on the yogurt. From the top of the hill, Alitasaki aimed a stone at the pot of yogurt on Krishna's head, breaking it and drenching his whole body. All the Sakis began to laugh and clap, and Shyam felt very ashamed. "Will you dare to demand tax on our yogurt ever again?" they asked. "Hold your ears and vow. From today I will never try to tax the gopis' yogurt." They forced Krishna to repeat it. And then, after that, Krishna had to fall at the feet of Srimati Radhika and beg pardon, and she excused him. Do you have that there? That bas relief? That's one of the bas reliefs. And now let's hop, skip, and a jump to Dangar after offering our obeisances at the revenge kunj and the place where Krishna apologized. Now let's go to Dangar. Same Krishna did the same thing. This beautiful place is on top of Brahma Parvat. One day, Rasika Krishna and Subalsaka were sitting here again as tax collectors, eagerly awaiting the arrival of Radhika and her friends, who were to pass this way carrying various articles of worship on the pretext of going to worship the sun god. Of course, nobody really had any work to do. It was just to meet each other. Upon seeing her, Krishna obstructed her path and rebuked her, saying, "Who are you, and where are you going?" Srimati Radhika answered, "Don't you know who we are?" And she fearlessly continued forward. Krishna and Subalsaka obstructed her way. Krishna said, "Don't you know that I have been appointed by the king of this state to collect taxes here? You cannot pass without paying tax. Every day you carelessly strut through here, carrying a variety of valuable items, and you never pay any tax. Halt, pay the tax, and then you may pass." Vishaka then spoke in a stern voice, "This is Radhika's kingdom. Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radhika is Vrindavaneshwari, not anyone else. How have you become the tax collector here without receiving her permission?" You all see where we are at Dangar? Okay. And that structure that's right near here is a swing. Well, it doesn't look the same as it did 5,000 years ago. It was full of flowers and ropes and creepers. How have you become the tax collector here without receiving her permission? Your offense is inexcusable, and for it you must suffer. Krishna replied, "Don't talk so impudently. Kandarpa Dev, or Cupid, is the king of this place. Every day you come and go through here, secretly carrying these expensive items. You know, at the airports, like when you have something that's a little expensive, you have to pay a tax on it. Absurd. But you never pay any tax. This has angered Maharaj Kandarpa." You know Maharaj Kandarpa? Cupid. Get it? "Who has sent me here. If you refuse to pay tax, then I will arrest you all and bring you before the king. You will have to suffer whatever punishment he, Cupid, hands down to you." Hearing Krishna's words, Vishaka replied, "What can your king do? Our queen is Vrindavaneshwari, the queen of Vrindavan. In her presence, we fear no one. We are well acquainted with the prowess of your king, Cupid. whose pride is shattered to pieces by the arrow-like sidelong glances of Srimati Radhika. Meaning, when Radhika looks at you, Krishna, you faint. Having said this, all the Sakis move forward. Just imagine their strut as they move forward, keeping Srimati Radhika up front. Krishna stepped forward and stood in the middle of the narrow path of Sankari Kaur. Oh, impertinent women of Braj, you fearlessly cross this place daily, hiding various kinds of jewels. And he doesn't see, this is all like girl to boy, means that they speak in very cryptic ways, joking ways, but what Krishna really means is, I know what you have under your clothing, all those jewels, and I'm going to arrest you now to get those jewels for Kandarpa, Cupid. Without fail, you must pay tax on these jewels. After such joking words and much laughter, Kishore Kishori enjoyed amorous pastimes in a solitary grove, and all the Sakis became filled with bliss. The temple here is called Dan, means tax, Mandir, tax temple. Now let's go a little bit up to Mangar. You know, that's when Radhika exhibits her sulky mood. Mangar is a very attractive place on top of the mountain, and here we are. Can you see this white structure in front of you? White and red and orange. Radhika displayed man or sulky mood right here where we are. How many births did it take us to get here? One day, right. One day, Krishna sent a message to Radhika through Subal, who is one of his Priyanar, means most intimate sakas, and through Vrindadevi that they should meet at a certain time. Krishna was on his way there when he suddenly met Padma. Like so many times when he's on his way to Radhika's meeting place, he meets one of Chandravali's close girlfriends who obstruct him and forcibly take him to Chandravali's kunj instead. Padma described Srimati Chandravali's state of separation from him and repeatedly requested him to meet her. Krishna could not ignore her plea, and he went to Chandravali's kunj for what was intended to be a short time. However, he became so absorbed in sweet talks and playful pastimes that he forgot everything else, and the time for the arranged meeting with Srimati Radhika elapsed. Meanwhile, one of Radhika's well-trained female parrots arrived on a tree of the same kunj. The parrot returned to Radhika and told her all the details of Krishna's pastimes with Chandravali and their conversations. She became deeply distressed and it went into a man that was very difficult to break. That's why Krishna does it. That's why he spends a little bit of time with the opposing party, so that Radhika would have man, so that he would have to please her, and so they would come closer together. Because Chandravali is just a creation of Radhika. So when he came, long after the appointed meeting time, Srimati Ji turned her face away, as you see in the painting. Seeing her unwavering man, Krishna tried to appease her through all kinds of means and tricks, but it could not break. Becoming hopeless and feeling sad, Krishna left. On the road he met Vishaka, who advised him to disguise himself as a new Saki playing a veena. So he went to Radhika together with Vishaka, who introduced this new Saki as Shama Saki. Vishaka profusely, this happens like in that painting over there, where Krishna is singing. This happens in so many different ways, ever fresh ways, at ever fresh times. So Vishaka profusely praised Shamasaki's ability to play the veena and sing, as well as all of her other skills. So Radhika seated this new Saki next to her with great honor and respect. By the arrangement of Yogamaya, she didn't recognize him at first. And who is Yogamaya? The culmination, the sum total of Krishna's pastimes in a form. And she's also the expansion of Radhika. Upon hearing, but then by the workings of Yogamaya, Radharani forgets all that. Upon hearing her exceptional singing, she became filled with delight and embraced her. But as soon as she embraced her, hey, this feels like Sham, not Shama. She recognized him by his touch, and as soon as she had done so, her mind broke. Surrounded by her friends, she now became absorbed in beautiful pastimes with the beloved of her life. In Mangar, one can also have darshan of Man Mandir, a swing, a Ras Mandal, and a Ratnatkara Sarovara, a lake, just near Mangar, to the south of the village of Manpura, which reminds one of all these pastimes. Let us roll in the dust here, and then take a few steps to Mayur Kutir. Which is also on the top of Brahmachala. Brahmachala means, Achala means mountain. Brahma Parvat. Here one can have darshan of the Ras Mandal, where Radhika and Krishna danced in the form of a peacock, Mayur, and Pihen, like beloveds. Once, Radhika and Krishna came to this place together with the Sakis. Upon seeing them, the peacocks became overjoyed with ecstasy and began to dance. Clouds gathered in the sky, and a light shower of rain fell. Nature had decorated herself fully, as if she was a beautiful and charming young woman. Radha and Krishna could not check their feelings. They also wanted to be peacock and peahen. So they danced in an astonishing way. Did you ever see those leelas? Did you see the leelas in Vrindavan? Oh, next time. It's young boy and young boy playing Radha and Krishna. It's all boys.
I saw Kana's one.
You saw? Oh, great.
Not this particular one.
Right. And so they have peacock feather tail, and then Krishna's dancing and the tail goes like that. So all the Sakis were astounded to see their skillful dancing. They began to sing different kinds of ragas, like Malhara, which increased Radha's and Krishna's pleasure. And we can offer our obeisances here to this tail that is bluish green and white structure. And let's move on to Vilaskar. Now this is on top of the different mountain, Vishnu Parvat. So it's a little bit running down the hill, running up the hill. This place is situated on Vishnu Parvat. Radha and Krishna perform many playful pastimes. Vilas here. Pastimes is Vilas, and so it's called Vilas Parvat. Nearby is where Radha used to play in the dust when she was just a child. You know how kids play at the beach and they make their little palaces and little houses. So she was playing in the dust with her Sakis when mischievous Krishna suddenly arrived. The Sakis forbade him to come inside the kunj. But why would Krishna obey them? He entered by force. At that moment, a dust storm fell upon them by providence, and the entire sky became covered with dust. Nothing could be seen anywhere, and the Sakis fearfully covered their eyes with their hands. Krishna took this opportunity to embrace little Radhika and kiss her face. This pastime took place at the time of Vayasandhi, or the period between childhood and youth, like 10-ish, 10, 11. Today, Vilas Mandir is situated where this pastime took place. And the Adi Varaha Purana states, I offer my obeisances to Krishna in the form of he who plays lovely pastimes. He performs these pastimes simply to give pleasure to the Sakis. Okay, and now we've crossed Shankari Kor. We've walked like that and held on to the mountains on the two sides, and we came all the way down the hill, and now we're in the streets. And in the streets, so Gurudev, all of a sudden, walking in the streets, and all of a sudden Gurudev says, this is Chiksoli. It's situated below Brahmachala Parvat and between Shankari Kor and Gavarvana. It is the birthplace of Chitrasaki, one of the 8 main Sakis. Chitrasaki's parents are Chatura Gopa and Charchita Gopi. She is married to Pitara Gopa in Javat. All the Sakis are married to Gopas in Javat. She's very expert at decorating and dressing Radhika in a variety of wonderful dresses, because Chitra means wonderful variety or astonishing variety. At decorating and dressing Radhika in a variety of wonderful dresses and ornaments. She's also skilled in many arts, such as painting and understanding the language of animals and birds. And beep, 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 beep. How do birds talk? Huh? Once, Radhika, the younger daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, was playing here with her girlfriends when she heard the very sweet and alluring sound. She didn't meet Krishna yet. Alluring sound of Krishna's flute in the distance. She became so enchanted by that sound that she offered her mind and body and everything to that person who she didn't know playing the flute. Yeah, it's like Purvarag. And she became desirous to meet him. She then saw an amazingly beautiful painting of Krishna that Chitrasaki had made. She forgot all else, and offered herself and her everything to this astonishing, beautiful person. At this time, Krishna and the Sakas were leaving to herd the cows. Upon seeing his supremely heart-stealing, threefold bending form, Radhika could not control her feelings and offered herself to this handsome young man. Meanwhile, Krishna wandered off into the distance to graze his cows. Now in a state of great restlessness, she began to relate what was on her mind to her Sakis. She told Lalita, "Oh, Saki, I do not want to remain alive for a moment longer," because, Vedic culture means chastity. The girl doesn't think about anybody until she's betrothed to a particular boy. Honorable women dedicate their hearts to only one man. When a young girl is engaged to someone, she considers him her husband and thinks of no one else. So it has to be arranged by the Guru Janas or the superiors, parents, and so on. But today, I have become attached to 3 men: the flute player, the young man in Chitra's painting, and the beautiful young man taking the cows out to graze. My righteous conduct has been destroyed. What is the use of my remaining alive now? Because that's the glory of any woman or girl in Vedic culture. Hearing this, Lalita burst out into peals of laughter and said, "Oh, bewildered one, there's no need for you to die. These 3 are not different people. They're one and the same." The man playing the sweet flute is none other than Nandanandan Krishna. He's also the one in the painting and the one who went cow herding. So what need is there for you to give up their life? Garvara. So let's offer obeisances to this wonderful place in the middle of the street. At least that's how it looks now. And to my art teacher. Now we're running to Garvara. Gavara. Gavara means deep, dense, inaccessible, and secret. True to its name, this place is a dense forest, thick with trees, creepers, groves, and Priyatama's sweet and intimate pastimes. What's the name of this place? Gavarvan. 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 It is shaped like a conch, this kunj. Situated here is a sitting place of Balabhacharya, where he recited Srimad Bhagavatam. Radha Sarovara, he didn't recite Radha Sarovara. It's his sitting place, and there's also Radha Sarovara, and there's also Ras Mandala. There's millions of Ras Mandalas. Here one can also see the places where devotees perform their bhajan. Now, so you're seeing Gavadavan's Parikrama path. Now it's a long way up the path. And there are Govardhan Shilas, or Shilas, along the way. One famous devotee, Nagari Das, has described the pastimes of this place in his songs. For instance, the following one took place one day when Krishna was out grazing with his cows and sakas. And the song goes, nearby in a field, green chickpea plants were growing. Upon seeing them, can somebody get water? I have a bottle down there. Thanks. Okay, can I take a little break and get Agraja Prabhu, because you have the book. If you can take the mic and the TV can turn to you, and you could translate this song.
Nearby, in a field, green chickpea plants were growing. Upon seeing them, Sri Krishna, together with his sakas, broke off some plants. The woman taking care of the field came to know of this and ran to catch them, but Kanai was too swift. Keeping the plants under his arms, he ran very fast through crooked paths and finally came to a stop in Gavaravan, where he roasted the green chickpeas and ate them with his sakas. While they were laughing and enjoying eating roasted chickpeas, the cowherd woman arrived at that spot. But upon seeing the splendor of Krishna's beauty, she forgot the incident and her anger was pacified. Due to absorption in motherly love, Vatsalya Bhav, she began shelling the peas and personally fed Kanai. Jai.
So offering our obeisances here on this Parikrama path, we're going up, and now we're approaching Krishna Kund. Gadagraja.
This pond is also called Gavar Kund. Canopied by creepers on all sides and covered by thick trees, this pond is the very beauty of Gavarvan. Nearby are beautiful groves. Vaishnavas perform parikrama of these groves with deep faith and roll in the dust here. This pond holds many memories of Radha and Krishna's various amorous exchanges.
All right, so let's roll in the dust here, following in their footsteps, because we want to be Vaishnavas. And then do Achman, beginning Om Keshavaya Namaha, and then jump in, but not head first. It might be shallow. And then swim under the water. I see Sarada's leading us in that. Swim under the water, and all the pastimes are coming into your heart. They may not manifest yet, but they're percolating. Okay, and then let's take a few steps to Dohani Kund. Gadagraja.
This pond is situated south of Gavarvan and southwest of the village of Chiksholi. The cows were milked, Godohana, here at the time of Krishna's manifest pastimes. This was the cowshed of many hundreds of thousands of cows belonging to Vrishabhanu Maharaj. One day, Kishori Radhika was watching the cows being milked, and she too desired to milk them. She took a clay pot and proceeded to do so. Mischievous Krishna arrived at that spot and said, "Saki, don't you know how to milk a cow? Come, I will teach you." And he sat down next to her. "Oh, Mohan, teach me," Radhika said, and she placed herself in front of him. "All right, you milk from 2 teats, and I will milk from the other 2, and keep looking at me." Laughing, Krishna started to milk. Suddenly, he aimed a jet of milk at Radha's face, saturating her with it. He and the other Sakis started laughing. This charming pastime has been described in the following Brajabas poem.
Okay, so now offer obeisances here and take the memory. We're taking the memory with us. We're not just leaving the memory. And we're going to go to Rasoli only because that's an important place, which is the birthplace of Tunga Vidya. And she can give us knowledge of how to enter and participate in the pastimes. And then she became who? Prabodhananda Saraswati, who wrote all those Rasik literatures. So let's offer obeisances here to Rasoli. Gadagraja Prabhu.
1.5 miles southwest of Debararo is Rasoli, where Radha and Krishna performed the famous Ras along with the gopis. This is the birthplace of Tungavidya Saki. Tungavidya's father is Puskara Gopa, her mother is Medha Gopi, and her husband is Valisha. She is one of the main 8 Sakis and is fully expert in dancing, singing, playing instrumental music, astrology, writing poetry, cooking, and various other arts. Tungavidya Saki is also skilled in understanding the language of birds and animals, and in arranging for Radha and Krishna's meeting.
Okay. And you can read about her in Radha Krishna Gana Desa Deepika. Tells all about what she looks like, what her skills are, like she's in charge of the gopis who play mridanga. That's why she's playing mridanga in the Kunj Kirtan painting. And we're going to run by Mukta Kund, because we already heard that pastime the other day in more detail. And we're offering obeisances there and continuing to run to Pili Pokar. Very interesting, tense, tension place. Kadagwaja Prabhu.
Surrounding this pond are pilu trees that produce fruits in abundance. On the pretext of collecting pilu fruits, Srimati Radhika would come here to perform varieties of playful pastimes. Sri Krishna would also come here from Nandagaon and enact many pastimes with her. Once the unmarried daughter of Kirtida, Srimati Radhika, and her Sakis went to Nandagaon to see Yashoda Mai. Charmed by Srimati Radhika's beauty and qualities, Yashoda Mai desired in her heart to marry Radhika to her son Krishna and thus have her as her daughter-in-law. So great was her desire that she painted Kishori Radha's hands yellow. Radhika's heart became very happy, but as she returned to her father's house in Varsana, she became quite embarrassed. She washed and scrubbed her hands in this pond,
We can't wait with you.
and the pond's water turned
we cannot
yellow.
Wait.
This pond is therefore called Piri
But she can't
Pokar,
stop.
or Pili Pokar, the yellow pond.
What about Nitai? Okay. Nitai.
It is also called Piala Kund because pial trees surround it. Jai.
Okay, so we're going to be continuing on our parikrama until Prasadam comes, all the way from our temple, all the way from Nandagaon where we stayed. We're going to be receiving Prasadam. And let's go to an extremely important place now, but we'll just summarize, because you've heard this pastime many times. We're going to Prem Sarovara. We are circumambulating. We're offering our obeisances here, rolling in the dust. And this is a very large lake here. Not quite a lake, more like a little pond. Huh? Big pond. Big pond. And so it's a big parikrama around the pond. So let's go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And here we are. Let's perform Achman here. And then let's dive into the Kund. Let's swim all the way around on the circumference. And dive in. And remember, you all know the pastime. So you can remember the pastime here of Madhu Mangal saying, I have driven that Madhusudan away and he'll never return. And then Radharani cries, Shishi Radharaman Bihari Ji Ki Jai. And then Krishna cries, and it all makes this Prem Sarovar lake. We are now bathing, you are now bathing in Radha's and Krishna's tears. And you can read the last paragraph on page 338.
Beginning with thus Shri Radha.
The transcendental sentiment.
Okay. The transcendental sentiment that Srimati Radhika displays here is the topmost Madan Bhav, which is found only in her. It does not manifest even in Lalita and the other Sakis. In this Madan Bhav, feelings of separation, Vipralamba, and meeting, Sambhog, as well as all other mutually opposed bhavs are present simultaneously in an astonishing way.
Go on.
Prem Sarovar is a manifestation of Radha and Krishna's transcendental sentiments, as the following Brijabash poem explains. Day and night, Prem Sarovar is always filled with prema, or divine love. Pyari Srimati Radhika keeps her lotus feet there, and Sham desires to keep those lotus feet in the vision of his eyes. In other words, Sham worships this pond because Srimati has placed her feet in its waters. There is no doubt that by bathing in this pond, one attains prema for the divine couple Sri Radha Krishna. Here one can take darshan of Lalita Mohanji, a Ras Mandal, a place where they would swing Jula stall, the temple of Prem Bihariji, and the sitting places, Vautikas of Sri Ballabhacharya and Sri Vitalanath. The village of Gajipur lies east of this pond. On the day of Bhadra Sukla Dwadasi, the fourth day of Radhastami, Buddhi Lila is performed here.
Okay. So, did we offer our obeisances here? All right, so that was an extremely important pastime place. Gurudev tells it very often. And now let's walk to Bivalakund, and Sanket. Also very important places. And a beautiful pastime took place here, which we will now hear about it from Srila Gurudev through the mouth of Kadagraja Prabhu.
This pond lies near Sanket, to the southeast. Here Sri Krishna became restless and overwhelmed, Vivala, upon hearing Sri Radha's name. One day Sri Krishna and Subal Saka were engaged in sweet rasik talk, as they sat in a beautiful kunja by this beautiful pond, or delightful pond. A female parrot sitting on the branch of a nearby tree began to sing of Sri Radhika's glorious qualities. When Krishna heard the name and qualities of Radhika, various sentiments arose in his heart. He saw manifestations of her wherever he looked, and anxiously began to run here and there in an attempt to catch her.
Wow.
Subal Saka noticed...
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He saw her everywhere just by hearing her glories. And then he ran everywhere to catch her. She there. Go ahead.
Subal Saka noticed the extremely elevated Asta-sattvic bhavs of Mahabhav on Sri Krishna's limbs, and contemplated how to pacify him. He understood that the only way would be for Krishna to meet with Srimati Radhika. He somehow sent news of Krishna's astonishing condition to Vishaka Saki, and requested her to bring Srimati Radhika to Krishna. Srimati Radhika arrived there with Vishaka and some other Sakis, and from a distance, Subal pointed towards Sri Krishna in his condition of extreme restlessness. Radha and Krishna had been eager to meet, and were therefore endlessly joyous to have each other's darshan. As soon as Sri Krishna experienced the touch of Srimati Radhika's transcendental body, he felt satisfied and content. That sadhaka who affectionately performs bhajan here will definitely become inundated with prema for Radha and Krishna. Wow.
Amazing. That God who breathes in and out universes is running here and here, trying to catch Radhika.
Okay, Sanket.
What was he doing? Said he was trying to catch her or what? I forgot.
He saw manifestations of her wherever he looked and anxiously began to run here and there in an attempt to catch her.
Wow. Okay. Offering our obeisances again. Now we can pray to Krishna that we want to feel sentiments when we hear Radhika's glories. Not just say, oh, what time is it? Is it Prasadam yet? Okay, here we are at Sanket.
This place is situated between Nandagaon...
We didn't even offer our obeisances
Sorry.
yet. Let's offer our obeisances here at Sanket. Sanket means either a specific meeting place of Radha and Krishna, or it just means a meeting place that was signaled to be that place. Okay.
This place is situated between Nandagaon and Barsana. The first meeting of Srimati Radhika and Sri Krishna after their
Are we there,
Purvarad.
Vasanti? Do we see the deities? Okay. Yeah, let's walk into the temple first and pray to the deities there. There's Radha and Krishna and Sanket Devi, also known as Veera Devi or Messenger Devi. It's the two main, organizers or coordinators are Veera Devi and Vrinda Devi. Okay.
The first meeting of Srimati Radhika and Sri Krishna after their Porvarag took place here. Srimati Radhika would then come from the house of her in-laws in Javat, and Sri Krishna would come from Nandagaon, and they would meet here. Vrinda Devi, Veera Devi, and Subal Saka would be messengers, duties, and arrange the meeting of Priya Priyatam through signals, Sanket. This is why this place is called Sanket. Sometimes Srimati Radhika would come here to meet with Krishna, and sometimes Krishna would come here to meet with Radhika. In Govinda Lilamrita and Krishna Bhavanamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur respectively describe Radha and Krishna's meetings and pastimes here at midnight, Naisha, and pre-dawn, Nishanta. These descriptions are full of ras. By Yoga Maya's desire, the principal messengers, Veera Devi and Vrinda Devi, arrange the meeting of the divine couple, Sri Radha Krishna. Vrinda Devi makes very sweet arrangements to awaken the divine couple at the end of night, just before dawn breaks. The male parrot and female parrot awaken them with enchanting words. The black cuckoo helps to awake them with his sweet kuhu kuhu, and the peacock and peahens with their keka. Lalita, Vishaka, and the other Sakis offer arti to the divine couple. Does that mean they literally offer arti?
Yeah, but not the way we do. Like they'll dance and the bracelets will jingle and they'll take the lamp and see if there are any marks on their faces or bodies and, clean them off.
Okay. When Kakati, the old she-monkey calls out, Jatila! Sri Radha and Sri Krishna become embarrassed and make their separate ways to their respective residences where they fall asleep. Delightful places worth visiting here are the temple of Sanket Bihariji, a Ras Mandal, and the place of a swing. The Bhajan Kuti of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami stands in front of the Ras Mandal, to its east.
Stand, it's really short, like you have to get down on your knees to see the doorway. But because Gopal Bhatta Goswami is so important to us, let's offer our obeisances at the low doorway of his Bhajan Kutir and take the dust all over our body. And we're also offering obeisances to the swing and to the arena of the Ras Mandal, which we see in front of us. Okay?
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rested here while traveling through the 12 forests of Braj. Just near the Ras Mandal is the temple of Sankat Devi, Sri Veera Devi, and nearby are Vibhala Devi, Vibhala Kund, Ranga Mahal, and Saya Mandira. Krishna Kunda lies to the west of the village. On the bank of Krishna Kund is a sitting place of Sri Ballabhacharya.
There's a lot of Ballabhacharya sitting places.
He did bhajan all over. Some people continue their pilgrimage of Braj Mandal by traveling from Sanket to Nandagaon. Others visit and perform Parikrama of the following pastime places before continuing to Nandagaon.
Now we're not going there, but we're just by hearing their names, we get the benefit of their contact.
Ritora, Bandokora, Meheran, Satoya Pai, Tiloyara, Shringaravata, Bichor, Andopa, Sonda, Vanachari, Hodal, Kunjaravan, Daigaon, Lalpura, Haro, Yana, Sanchuli, Gendo, and so forth.
All right, but we do want to go to one more place. This is a pastime that Gurudev tells very often, And so let's stop here. We've been running past all these little villages and pastime places. Let's stop at Haroyana Gram.
Mm.
Very important pastime place. Okay.
This village is currently called Piparavara. Here, Srimati Radha defeated Krishna in a game of dice and won his flute. Once, Srimati Radhika consulted Lalita and the other Sakis, saying, "Since Krishna is physically more powerful than us, he defeats us in the games which depend upon bodily strength. Please think of a game based upon intelligence by which we can easily
Yeah,
defeat
you can
him."
easily defeat us in physical brute strength, but intelligence, that's another thing.
Lalita Saki advised Srimati Ji to challenge Krishna to a game of dice. The Sakis then challenged Krishna to a game. It had no sooner started when Srimati Radhika easily defeated him and snatched away his flute, which had been kept on stake. Madhu Mangal, who was sitting nearby, pretended to be sad and said, "Kanai, the gopis have just taken your flute, and they will now confiscate everything of yours. You are expert at grazing the cows, so go and do that. I feel very unhappy when I see you defeated like this." Saying this, he started laughing. Krishna rebuked him. He called him a talkative Brahmin and told him to keep quiet.
Get that? Madhu Mangal said, "You're not good at dice, you're good at grazing cows. Go do that."
This village has been named Haroyana on account of this pastime in which Krishna was defeated at dice. Harna means to be defeated.
That's right, that's what the Manjaris love when Krishna is defeated. And what does Krishna love the most? To be defeated by the gopis and the gopas. Okay, so we have completed our Brajmandal Parikrama of Varsana just now, and we're begging the mercy of our spiritual superiors, Gurudev, Prabhupada, all of our disciplic succession, all the personalities in all these pastime places to give us mercy, that all the Maya that's in our head will leave, and these pastime places will enter our hearts. Gaur Premanandi Hari. Varsanagam Ki Jai. Now we're back in the mat, and we'll be getting Prashadam in just a couple of minutes. Yes.
In the last passage, he refers to Krishna as Kanaya.
Kanai is just a nickname.
Okay, I was under the impression that it means like Krishna on his belly, laying down on his belly.
I've never heard that it means that.
I thought it was in the commentary on Damodar Astakam. I'm gonna have to look at it.
Laying down on it?
Laying down on his belly.
I never ever heard that. If you can find it, then okay. The boys call him Kanaya, and Mother Yasoda calls him Kanaya. All right. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo.